Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to be going through how to prepare for VAT registration because this is I wouldn't even say it's a hurdle, but it's just something that people see as a hurdle when it's really not. It's pretty simple, but I'll make this video to help those of you that obviously need some advice on how to prepare for it. So let's get started. So first things first, some basics to understand about VAT, right? And when do you need to actually get registered? Okay, so the UK threshold currently is at £90,000. Okay, so if you do over £90,000 in revenue over the span of 12 months, you are going to have to get VAT registered. That's changed. It used to be 85,000, but now it's at 90,000. And obviously, to be honest with you, those of you who are doing Amazon to that level anyway should probably have an accountant, and obviously they'll tell you that, or they'll tell you obviously at the time. Or whenever you're watching this video, or whenever you have to get VAT registered, they'll tell you what the threshold is because it might change from now till then. Okay, but currently it's at £90,000. So something else you've got to understand is that different products have different VAT rates. For example, your standard products have a 20% VAT rate, which means obviously the value added tax on these products is 20%. Some products are 0% VAT rated. For example, you have foods, teas, coffees, which are at 0% VAT rated. And obviously some products are 5% VAT rated as well, which obviously you can look up and have a in-depth guide as to which products fall under which VAT rates. And obviously that's important because obviously you need to know what VAT you are paying and what VAT essentially you are owing as well. For these products that you sell at these different VAT rates. So, once you are obviously VAT registered, you've got to understand that obviously on all your sales, you will have to pay VAT on them. Essentially, so let's say if you sell a product for a tenner on Amazon, divide that by 1.2, and the difference is actually what you actually owe in VAT. But the difference is now when you are paying obviously for products from your suppliers, they are going to put VAT on that invoice. Now that VAT you can claim back. So the difference is now we can claim back VAT from, let's say, your pro forma invoice that you pay from your supplier. However, when your VAT return comes around, you are going to have to pay the VAT on that sales price, which we have just discussed. Now also Amazon have started as well adding VAT on fees, which you can also claim back as well now as part of your VAT return. Also, you can claim VAT on eligible business expenses. For example, let's say you invest in a printer for your business, right? And that costs £300 ex VAT. Whatever you pay on top of that, on that including VAT price point, you'll be able to claim back. Now, something else which I want to add as well is when you do get to the point whereby you're importing stock, there'll be no VAT on these invoices with most of these suppliers. But obviously upon that stock landing in the country, you will get an invoice essentially to pay for the import of that stock. Okay, so you get your import duty and also some other pretty minute fees. But you'll also get the VAT of those goods. Obviously, the VAT of these goods depend on the VAT rates of these products. For example, if you're importing tea, it's going to be 0%, so there's nothing to worry about. Let's say you are importing, I don't know, let's say door locks, right? Just because there's a door lock over there. That's going to be no more 20% VAT. So let's say when you have imported that stock, as soon as it lands in the country, you are going to be liable for VAT on that stock. Obviously, you will be able to reclaim it back. I mean, obviously, a door lock is 20% VAT, so it'll be 20% of obviously your cost of goods. But obviously, just bear that in mind when you are importing this stock to have that cash available. You can register for something called, I believe it's called post VAT accounting or something like that. My accountant mentioned it to me, but it's just something I never went down the route of. Which is whereby when it does come to importing the stock, the VAT, you can actually reclaim back straight away when it comes to importing. But yeah, that's something you can look into or ask your accountant about, just so you don't have that gap in your cash within your business, right? Because let's say if you've ordered 20 grams worth of stock, obviously 20% of that will have to be paid in VAT. upon importing. So that's just something you can do to ease up your cash flow when it comes to importing stock from abroad. Now, something which I recommend, obviously, now that you are VAT registered and to prepare for your VAT registration side of things, is ensure that your finances are in order. You have a good accountant, because what you don't want to be doing is getting stung when it comes time for your VAT return. And there's obviously different ways you can help prepare for your VAT return, or the cash you may have to obviously put towards your VAT return, whether that be separating a certain amount of your Amazon payments to the side, or whether that be, let's say, a month before your VAT return is due, you sit down with your accountant, look at how your numbers are looking, and get a sort of ballpark figure as to what sort of VAT you owe, essentially, to help prepare you for this. But yeah, that's something which you want to take up with your accountant, and ensure that your accountant as well does have an in-depth understanding of Amazon. You do not want to make the mistake of using an accountant which typically doesn't deal with Amazon sellers, because Amazon has many different things in place when it comes to VAT that you need to keep on top of. For example, now you've got your VAT on fees. So what you don't want your accountant doing is just looking at your revenue and then saying, okay, 20% of that VAT is. No, you might have some 0% VAT products, you might have some 5% VAT products. Some sale prices may have been at a promo, or Amazon may have put an offer on them, so the VAT might be different. You need to make sure that your accountant has ability to essentially look at each transaction, or sorry, I'm not sure what that is, that's a fly. You need to make sure that your accountant has ability to basically see where each sale is going, right? What amount of cash has been allocated to each sale, what were the fees looking like for that, and what was the VAT rates looking like for each sale, and have the ability to look at all these as a collective, rather than just looking at sales total for, let's say, a month and then just applying VAT to all of that. No, you need to ensure your accountant has the ability to look deeper and extract all the data, utilizing whatever softwares they use or whatever APIs they use. So that's something I recommend as well. Now, something else which obviously you have to consider is obviously the new ways that you're going to look at your margins now, because it's a bit different, isn't it, now that you've become VAT registered. Now, a lot of the products which you were previously buying will obviously be at a lower margin, but that's just something to consider, and it outweighs it. Well, the negative sort of balance out with the positive when it comes to wholesale, because yes, your margins will be lower now, but however, that will give us that will give us access to higher barrier to entry suppliers. Now that we're VAT registered, we'll be seen as a more legitimate business. So essentially, we're able to get products and prices other people won't be able to get, because we are now VAT registered. So that is something else to think about. Yeah, something else I'd recommend is using tools like Sellerboard when it comes to analyzing your profit calculation, or looking at your profits for the month, for the week, and ensuring that your VAT setting is now on, which is obviously highly advised, because you wouldn't be looking at the correct figures that you are making. And something else which you want to consider is obviously to update your Amazon account once you're VAT registered. Essentially letting Amazon know that you're VAT registered, because if you don't, what they'll do is they'll reach out to you and say, hang on a second, you should be VAT registered, basically, and they'll obviously put a hold onto your account, which nobody wants. But yeah, in terms of what I'd recommend is, don't be like, a lot of people are scared of VAT registration and they think their margins aren't going to get sliced, but no, it's understanding that while there are cons that come with it, there are also pros that come with it as well. For example, access to high barrier to entry suppliers. Also, you can utilize the fact that you're VAT registered, so you can invest in, let's say, 5% VAT rated stock, 0% VAT rated stock, understanding that you are on somewhat a level playing field now. If anything, you're on more of an advantageous playing field, because you being VAT registered, you're going to be able to claim back the fees that Amazon charge. The VAT on the fees that Amazon charge being VAT reg. So yeah, so that's something to consider as well. So it's a pretty simple procedure, and you've got to understand that if you want to do wholesale to a serious level, hit those bigger numbers, you're going to be VAT registered anyway. So it's literally nothing to worry about. So hopefully, yeah, I gave you some things to think about in this video, and you can obviously take away some points from this video and use it to help you ease your journey of becoming VAT registered. But like I said, it's nothing big to think about. So yeah, hope that helped. If you want any help with wholesale or want to join on our wholesale program and join the community, you can click the link in the description down below to see if you'd be a good fit for the program. If not, feel free to like the video, feel free to subscribe. I hope everyone has a good day that's watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.